Ladies and gentlemen, we know them as the original Red and Blue Power Rangers, Jason Lee Scott and Billy Cranston. Let's have a big welcome for Austin St. John and David Yost.
Wow.
That was the sizzle reel. You saw the sizzle reel. Thank you guys so much for coming.
You're welcome. I knew there was aliens. I feel like I'm being abducted.
Yes.
Don't look into the light.
Yeah. They are filming X-Files here right now, so that we're probably on that show right now. Yeah. Both your first time in Vancouver?
It's definitely my first time in Vancouver, so I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, and maybe our last.
I'm
just saying, if we're abducted.
He thinks there's really aliens.
I was just looking at the light. It's a joke. It's an alien thing.
They don't see what we see.
Yeah.
So
You should sit up here for a minute. It's like blinded by the light.
we can't really see you guys. We just see lights. So
It's been a few years that we've been trying to get some Power Rangers up here, and I don't know about you guys, but I am so happy that they finally listened to us and brought our childhood heroes to us. So thank you. I'm sure everybody else feels the same way as I do. Yeah. We'll get to some of your questions, so start thinking up what you've been wanting to ask these guys your entire lives, and you'll have your moment, and you'll be nervous, just like I am. I want to start from the very beginning, though, when you guys first found out about this show. Who did you hear it from first? Did you audition? And how in the world did they pitch this crazy show to you?
well, you're making it sound like we were like actors that they really came and sought us out. Like, oh, here's a script. We'd love you to be in this show, but it wasn't like that at all. There was an open casting call in something in Los Angeles called Backstage West, and it's just like a list of all the auditions that are going on in the city, whatever. And I saw, for me, I can't speak for anybody else, but I saw, this listing, and I fit the character breakdown of a character called Victor, which went on to become this guy. The name was eventually changed to Jason, but so I originally auditioned for the role of the Red Ranger, and I had 3 auditions for that character, and I realized they weren't going to give me that role because they had, found this guy, and so I begged and begged and begged to read for the role of Billy, and they said, no, you do not fit the type, no. And I said, please let me read for Billy, and they said, no, thank you. And I kept begging, and they kept saying no. So I eventually, in one of the auditions, I went into the bathroom, and I wet my hair down. I borrowed somebody's glasses. I borrowed somebody's shirt and buttoned it wrong. And I went to the casting director and producers, and I said, please let me read for Billy. And they were like, okay. And then I
Persistence.
had... Persistence. And then I had 5 auditions for that role, and eventually got the role. So, moral of the story, when people tell you no, but you believe something in your heart, really do everything in your power to make it happen. Otherwise, I wouldn't be Billy.
So heartwarming already, David. And so how did they describe the show on paper? And did you think that they were nuts?
I never saw the show on paper. I wasn't an actor. I was in high school teaching martial arts. I was a teenager with attitude. I still am. Who am I kidding? And somebody bet me $20 that I should go for this role, and I wouldn't do it. Weeks and weeks and weeks, he nagged me, and finally he's like, "Look, I'll bet you $20. You won't be wasting your time if you go do this." So I lost $20, and here I am. So that's kind of what I knew. The show was originally advertised as a show called Phantoms, and my character was Victor, and I didn't even really know I didn't know anything. These guys, Dave and Walter, and the first 4 aside from me, taught me important things like, hey, when you have a line, you should face the camera.
But don't look at the camera.
But don't look at the camera. In police work, that's a clue. So, I really had to watch everybody who knew infinitely more than I did, although at 17 you couldn't tell me that. But I don't know, that was kind of my beginning.
Yeah, I mean, like when the show was described on paper, it wasn't described as the Power Rangers, your superheroes, your this, that, and the other. Really, in the beginning, it was just about the characters, and we just thought we were teenagers, like doing a show like Beverly Hills 90210 type thing. And then they started describing more about like the action, but I don't think any of us really understood the show until we actually filmed the pilot and saw the pilot cut together. and then we sort of got it.
Yeah, there was this somewhere in the audition process. I think there was like a 5-minute clip where they're, hey, this is the show you're coming from, and we all sat, or at least I did, and I was just like, what? I mean, there was Rita with really bad lip sync. Oh, I've got such a headache, you know. And it was like, I'm auditioning for this. Can I take my audition back? Like, I had no idea. So we're the pilot.
And Power Rangers really is all about the team. So when you had the 5, and you had a different Yellow Ranger in the pilot, right? But
Andre Dubois.
right. So when you had the first 5 and even the new 5, was it important for Saban or for the director or anybody to make sure that you guys gelled? Did you do any like off-camera teamwork, trust exercises?
Well, I don't know if we did trust exercises, but, well, maybe we did. No, I'm just kidding. No, in the beginning, I think what was unique about the cast that I was with, Austin, Walter, Amy Jo, and the original, I shouldn't say original, but the first Yellow Ranger and pilot, was that we actually took the time, because we were kind of paired up in the beginning, sort of, you know, quickly for some reason. And so like we would go to lunch during the audition process and hang out together at lunch, and we would actually practice our lines and practice the scenes, and we really spent time together, and we just had this automatic bond and chemistry. And I think that's why, you know, we stood out, because there was actually 3 different casts, and 3 different casts went before the network in the US, and the network was going to decide which cast, whatever. But I think our cast really did gel the most and really did have the best chemistry, and we were the most talented. I'm just kidding. All those other actors are going to be like, listen to that jerk, man. So,
True story.
No, but it's a true story. We really spent a lot of time together, and you know, we just had a natural chemistry, which was great.
So at that point, with you knew there was 3 different casts, you had kind of had to be like, this is a big deal. They've got the big guys at the networks watching us right now.
Yeah, I mean, it was 5th, 6th, I don't know. It was the last audition, and I remember walking into I mean, it wasn't this big, but it was not a small room. And they had all the heads of 20th Century Fox, or maybe it was Fox Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, the television network was there very clearly. And all of Haim Saban and his people were there, and the directors, and you walked in, and there was this very clear sense of, these are the people that are going to make or break you. No joke. And the 3 casts, the tall cast, medium cast, and the short cast, clearly we were the super tall cast. I mean, just in case you missed that. And it was no joke. We walked in, and I remember Strath Hamilton, he was the Australian director at the time. He told us, he's like, all right, guys, this is the day. I think he kind of let us know fairly early on he was pulling for us. I think he wanted us to get it. But I think there were a lot more people with their fingers in the decision pie than just him. So he made it clear to us, you got to stick with the program. Katie Wallen, too. So it was very serious. I remember that.
And even so, even there being 3 casts, the network could have said, well, you know, we like those 4 people, but you need to get rid of that guy and bring that guy from that cast. So, you know, it's very, very stressful, because you just don't know. But you go home and you get that phone call, and your life has changed. So.
If you guys have any questions, step on up to the mic. I'm going to ask one more question, and then we'll come to your questions. I want to talk about It's Morphin Time. Was this always the line?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I actually said it in the auditions. I don't remember hearing it even in the auditions. But definitely on the pilot episode, they were very clear. And I remember my first read on it, because I was an insecure 17-year-old boy. What did I know? Especially about sounding confident. Unless I was given a key eye or fighting, which I wasn't at the time. And they were like, we want you to say it's Morphin Time. I'm like, what does that mean? What is that? What are you talking about? And then they showed us footage, and it was like my face grew into this big Tyrannosaurus. Be really glad that changed. Like all of our faces morphed into these funny-looking dinosaurs. It was horrible. And so they explained it to me, and pretty soon he said the magic words to me. He's like, this is your call into battle. And that changed my whole mindset on it. I was like, okay, Jason is a walk softly, carry a big stick, but this is my it's time to get down line. So that's how I threw it out there. And I remember Strath at first was like, that's too much, what do you think? And I remember Ilan looked at me, and he's looking in the lens, and he looks over at Strath, and he's like, I like these. And Strath was like, okay. And it stuck, and that was it ever since.
And I'm not just saying this because you're here and I'm sucking up to you, but you say it the best. Watching that, right? Like watching back those original episodes, no one says it's Morphin time like Jason.
Thank you.
Right?
Years of training.
Right?
Years of training.
Yes, okay. Let's go to your questions. This lineup's longer, so we'll start over here. Just say your name. Come up super, super close to the mic. You can adjust the arm if you need to.
I'll just bend down. So my name is Matthew. My question is, where do you think your characters are today, and what are they doing now?
My character's right here answering questions. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I think Jason probably would have followed a lot of what my career was. So I went on into the fire department, became a paramedic, 12 years in the DC area, and then I spent 4 years as a medic attached to military operations in the Middle East. I could see Jason doing that. And I think Jason and Austin aren't that far separated in a lot of ways. So I think Jason would be in service in some sort of public community wherever he could fit in.
Billy, the last time that we saw him, went off to a planet called Aquitar. So I imagine he had a relationship with an Aquatarian, and he might have half fish, half human kids. I'm on the fence about that. I think he probably really contemplated a serious relationship, but probably chose that it wasn't right for him, and so somehow he got involved in like a Starfleet type thing. And I see Billy as being like a captain or some kind of a leader in a, celestial force.
You haven't thought about this at all?
No, I think about it all the time.
I like that though. Yeah, that makes me so happy. To
Like
think of Billy.
a Captain Kirk,
Yeah, totally. Okay, let's go over here.
But he didn't keep the relationship. So every so often he's got to rush back home to save the relationship he never took advantage of, because there's still that lost love.
Could be.
And then he leaves again. I'm so glad you're safe. Sorry your planet's on fire. I'll see you soon. Cheers. I'm going to help him write this later.
Hi guys, my name's Alex, and this question's for David. Just wondering if you could describe any of the challenges of moving from the TV show into the movie.
I'm sorry, moving in from the TV show to what?
To the movie, the full-length movie.
Oh, I mean, I don't know that there's really any challenges per se, because we already are playing the characters. It's just we went to Australia to film the movie, so we were there for 6 months doing that, so you're away from home, so that's a challenge. But it was really amazing to be in Australia, and when you have a studio like 20th Century Fox producing the movie, you have a lot of money, and so our sets were bigger. Not
They
us,
had a lot of money.
not us personally, but the producers had a lot of money to spend on the sets and stuff like that. So that was cool. But there was no like real challenges. The only challenge that really came up for us was that the movie was only supposed to take 3 months to film. And we started filming it, and a lot of things that we filmed weren't working in what they call test groups. So they would take the footage and they would show it to kids and see how the kids would react to it, and they weren't reacting the way that they wanted. And we had a different Dulcia.
What did they have against Mariska Hargitay?
There wasn't really anything against Mariska. It was just the girl who ended up playing Dulcia, Gabrielle Fitzpatrick, was originally cast, but she got sick and had to have an operation. And so that made her go out. And then we filmed all this stuff with Mariska. It wasn't horrible, and I don't think it was Mariska's fault. It was just the way that a lot of things were going with the film. And then by the time we decided to reshoot, Gabrielle was finished healing from her surgery, and the director was like, I need her. And so that's just kind of how that came about. So, there wasn't any challenges other than, so the movie ended up taking twice as long as it should have, and because of that, we got behind on our television schedule, so they started making us film the TV show and the movie at the same time. That was confusing, and very draining. So there was a point where we worked 21 days straight without having a day off, and you work 12 to 15-hour days, so it was very, very stressful. And if we weren't filming the TV show or the movie, they made us go and do our voiceovers. So whenever you see us in costume and we're talking, we have to go back into a booth and dub our voice over it. So that was the only challenge. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you guys.
That was
worked
like a
your
big
butts
long
off then.
story about nothing.
Let's go to the Blue Ranger here. I love that outfit. It's awesome.
Thank you. So my question is, what was like a typical day of filming for you guys like? Because I was watching an episode from season 2 recently, Missing Green, I believe it was. It was like the episode right after Tommy lost his Green Ranger powers again, and I couldn't help but notice that like. Well, throughout most of the episode, Austin was in it, but then like during the tail end of the episode, when like the Red Ranger showed up at like a Goldar's chamber or something, I couldn't help but notice that the voice coming out of him was, well, it clearly wasn't Austin. So I mean like I'm not even going to like get into what happened in season 2. We all know that. So. Would you guys like film scenes from like multiple episodes during just like the over like 12 to 14 hours or however long you worked?
Yeah, I mean, in the average week, we would film 2 to 3 episodes. So, if all of you have a scene where, I don't know, you're doing something specific and it's supposed to be in this room, which is now the command center. Well, they're not going to bring you in, have you shoot this scene, and then take you and the crew and the lights and the cameras all out of this room to the room next door to go shoot the juice bar scene, to bring you back in here 5 hours later to shoot the next command center scene. What they're gonna do is they're gonna say, okay, this is a scene where you punch Alpha in the head. So somebody punches Alpha in the head. And he goes, ay, ay, ay. And they're like, cut, great. Get it 15 angles, lighting, coverage, great. And before we switch sides, go change your wardrobe, come back, and now this is the scene where Alpha kicks you in the face. And so you do that, all the same lights, same side, and then they're like, cut, great. Now this is a scene where Bulk comes into the command center and flips off Zordon. So you shoot that all from one angle, from one side, and then they send you all back and you go back to your very first set of wardrobe because now all the lights are shining the other way, and you reshoot the entire thing. So halfway through the day, you're like, who's flipping, kicking Alpha's head? What happened? Who's on first? And that's pretty much how it goes. So it could get real confusing real easy.
Yeah, so what he's really saying is like we were filming 4 episodes at one time. So that's how we call them clusters. And so we would take the 4 episodes, and every scene that takes place in the command center for those 4 episodes, we would shoot. And then we would move to another set and shoot every scene for those 4 episodes on that set and move. And so you're constantly changing wardrobe. You're constantly, with the girls, they always have to have a different hairdo, so we have to wait for the girls to get their hair done.
My favorite part of the day.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So just, it was it was a great way to work. It was very systematic, and we got a lot done. And as actors, I think we learned so much on that set. Like, we could go to any TV set or film set and know more than the majority of the actors out there, because we were just on such a high pressure schedule, and just like switch. It's cool.
Not to mention cut and paste the Japanese footage, which you guys haven't seen and don't really know what's happening, right? So like you're kind of filming 3/4 of 4 TV shows simultaneously. That's crazy.
Yep.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Here. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Jacob. I was wondering how you feel about the R-rated Power Ranger movie thing.
The new movie?
The new movie.
I know the R-rated one, the YouTube.
Oh yeah, the YouTube.
You mean the NR-17?
Gritty.
It was pretty.
Yeah, as a professional piece, like a professional critique, it was well shot, well organized. The actors did a good job. The effects were really good. Considering the budget, I'm not really sure what the budget was, but I would imagine it wasn't amazing. I think they did an exceptional job with what they had. Off the cuff, I definitely wouldn't let my kids watch it. I didn't really enjoy, the Black Ranger being the guy that's snorting coke, shooting people in the head. I thought that was a bit stereotypical, but I also think that's exactly what he was going for. I think he was looking to provide a piece that would touch on all of our nostalgia and then crash down a bunch of barriers, cross lines, and make it get 16 million views and raise hell online. And for that reason, I think it was an incredibly successfully well done piece.
What was I can't remember Billy in that. Was he in it?
He was in it. He was like a billionaire in charge of a tech company. It was just one quick scene, and actually the director of the film played Billy, and all that. So, yeah.
Okay, one more question over here.
Hi, my name's Teresa. My question for you is, what made you first realize that this was becoming a big deal and was becoming important to people?
As a person or as a group?
Either.
Well, I think before Universal, which was our first and only group public appearance, which was like a massive rock star moment, which I'll never forget. I think personally, Jonathan Zakora came downstairs one day and says, guys, I want to tell you, your show is now #1 in the world. And I'm looking at Walter. We've been filming 18 hours. My Red Ranger suit is tied down around my waist. I'm looking at my book. I'm looking over at Walter. Walter looks at me. We're like, oh. And went back to reading because we had no idea what that meant. We'd been filming about a year straight. So when I went out in public the first time, I went to Glendale Galleria in California. I was like, I need jeans. Oh, it was a mistake. So I'm wearing blue jeans, park my 1993 Jeep, go cruising on into Glendale Galleria, walking straight up to this big mall like anybody's business. I had no idea. And as I'm walking in, people are staring at me. As they're walking by, I'm like, what? I got a booger hanging out of my nose? What is this? I showered this morning, you know? It was like my one day off after a year. Made it inside the door, and I heard a scream. And I was like, and then I heard Jason, and I was too slow on the reactions. I was like, Jason, why does that ring a bell? It's ringing a bell, it's ringing a bell, ringing a bell. And here came the tidal wave. So I lost my shirt. I lost one rear pocket off the only good pair of jeans I had, one shoe, my sunglasses, and my hat. So now I needed even more jeans.
Are these kids or moms?
Both. I'm not, I wish I was kidding. I'm not. Your moms were crazy. Just so we know. I'm not even going to go on anymore. But so security came up and they escorted me out. And they're like, you need to let us know when you're coming. I was like, I'm sorry. Just wanted jeans. I was going to Abercrombie, man. So that was my first personal experience.
Yeah, I mean, we all have similar experience. I mean, I didn't get my shirt ripped off or anything like that. But, I mean, I think for us as a group, as Austin was saying, we did a show at Universal Studios in Hollywood. You know, we were only scheduled to do one little tiny show in the morning, and it ended up being a chaotic day where we created a 10-mile long traffic jam in Los Angeles. We shut down one of our freeways. They had to close Universal Studios because too many people were trying to get in the park to see us. Instead of doing one show, they moved us to the biggest theater possible in Universal Studios, and we ended up doing 6 or 7 shows. And I mean, you would walk out on that stage and there was just kids screaming, you know, like it really was a rock star moment. Like we understand what a rock star feels like. And I think that was the first time that we understood, wow, this is what a #1 show feels like. In terms of like the effect that we were really having on you guys on such a personal level, I don't think that I really even realized that until much later in life. And
Me too.
Yeah, and still, you know, every day that we come to a Comic-Con, even not at a Comic-Con, I have people come up to me on the street. You guys tell us the most amazing stories about how Power Rangers affected you and touched you and transformed you and made you want to do things that you never thought you could do. And so when we hear stories like that, it's like, it's so amazing to us and it's so humbling, you know, and we're truly grateful. It's a gift that we've been given, and we definitely try to live up to your expectation of being good people. We are good people for the most part. We have our days and our moments, as everybody does, but, you know, it really is humbling and it touches our hearts in ways that we can't even express to you. But, you know, it's really an awesome gift to be a part of something that really has shaped you guys. And you guys have become martial artists, you become doctors, you become all kinds of amazing things, teachers, gone into the military service because of Power Rangers, because you wanted to be a hero. So I just think it's really awesome. So like every day, we're still learning the effect that this show has had on people, and it's just really like, wow.
You know, I don't want you guys to miss out on the influence you have had on us either. He talked about it. You know, we feel it with me, it's like a responsibility, because most of you are adults now, at least physically, on many levels. I know I'm still growing up a lot. I'm not quite ready to claim adulthood, but one day. But when I left the show, I had a lot. Dad was a Marine, Mom was a cop, grandfather, Army bomber pilot. I came from this whole long line of public servants, people who had served an idea, a purpose, something much bigger than themselves, and who were willing in some form or way to put their lives on the line to preserve it, or grow it, or keep it, or whatever, however you want to get there. So when I left the show, I had to go through this period of what do I want to be when I grow up? And I felt this incredible weight of, well, I come from this family of, in my mind, real superheroes. And here I was just pretending to be one. And I've got all these children all over the world who expect that I really am one. And I realized one day they're going to grow up. I never thought I would really see you or discuss it. I was wrong. But I wanted to, had that moment ever come, I wanted to feel like I could hold my chin up and say, you know what? I made an effort to do it for real, because I still believe it's the right thing. So you guys inspired me to find another way to try to save lives. So I did the fire department, and I went to the Middle East. And not that I'm not looking for applause, but I want you to understand that I'm just trying to live up to this image that in my heart I created for you, and in reality I decided to try and hold true for you. So that's because of you guys, and I think you guys touched each of us like that in a pretty intense and very special way, and I'm so grateful. All these years later, I get to come back and hear the stories that you've told that have put me in tears, the ones that have made me laugh hysterically, and all of the stories in between, because those will forever touch me, and those are the greatest gifts you could give each of us. So thank you for your inspiration and what it is you share with us.
Thank you.
Beautiful. You said you didn't know, 25 years ago that you'd be doing this. Did you, after you realized the success of the show after season 1, did you ever think, yeah, the show's going to be still on in 25 years, still going?
I didn't even think it would get picked up on the season. I didn't think there'd be episode 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty crazy if you really watch the show, but the fact is, you've seen a couple? Just 2?
1 or 2,
Okay,
yeah.
good. No, but I mean, the fact that it has had this longevity is pretty insane. And the fact that you guys are now, some of you guys now have kids, and now you're having your children watch the original Rangers, is pretty awesome. It's just like, wow.
And that still stands.
Yeah,
to
and
kids,
they still
not to us as much anymore, but to the kids, they're still like, wow.
Like, they resonate more with the original cast than any other cast that they watch. So I just find that pretty awesome.
It was a bit of magic that they tapped into there for sure. Okay, let's go this side.
Hi, I'm Andrew. My question is, out of all the things that fans have probably made or given you over the years, what's the one that really stands out in your mind that you remember really well?
Shortly after I came back from overseas, I guess there was a few folks who just didn't expect to hear that from me. And they're the guys who do a lot of custom morphers out there. And these guys went, and it took, I guess, three, maybe 4 different companies who got together, and they took my morpher, and they plated it in gold and silver, and then put the American flag and colors over it surrounding my Tyrannosaurus coin, and put it in this really nice, well-finished oak box with velvet, and handed it to me, and it said something to the effect, I'd have to relook at the inside now. We moved, but forever in service, or something to that effect, and thank you very much. And it just kind of blew my mind, It was a little bit of appreciation for working with the guys that keep us all safe, Trying to keep them safe so they keep you safe. So that was a special thing for me, as a thank you for my time overseas.
I mean, there's so many gifts. We get gifts like every day. It's crazy. Thank you. If you've given me a gift today, I appreciate it. Is Jerome, are you in the audience? No, Jerome here in Vancouver, he made me a Billy doll. And if you see it, it is like the most amazing little action figure ever. And I'm really appreciative of it because he took so much time and effort. And he's a really talented artist and a storyteller, and so I'm like really honored to get it from him. But so it's like, that in itself is cool, but I think for me the best gift is like you guys coming here or any Comic-Con that we are at. That means a lot. And you know, when people say I traveled 10 hours just to come see you, that's
From the other side of the world.
from the other side of the world. I came to this con just because I had to see you guys. Like, that's crazy. That's really awesome. So like those are the gifts that really mean a lot to me. But I appreciate all the other gifts too. They go up on my shelf. So it's cool.
Let's go to Stitch over there.
My name is Rocky. My name is Rocky. I am from Austin, Texas.
Wow.
And I was wondering if I worked hard enough, could I like make it onto a show like this?
Rocky, where'd you get that name? From your parents?
No, no.
You just made it.
I'm too embarrassed to say my real name, but I got it from, most people think it was the Rocky movie, but I got it from a Skylanders Giants character, I think.
Yeah, okay. I think the new season of the show is testament that, well, you look at the Sudarso brothers, who have been back-to-back Blue Rangers. Yeah, I love them too. And that's what Power Rangers means now to kids. They can grow up and be Power Rangers.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty awesome. I know Austin has stories of like people that he's met that have become Power Rangers, that are Red Rangers or whatever, and they're like, oh my God, I wanted to be you when I was a little kid, and now I'm the Red Ranger. So I mean, that's really, really awesome. So of course, I mean, if you really want to be a Power Ranger, you can. There's just work that's involved in doing that. You gotta take acting classes. You gotta believe in yourself. You probably should do martial arts or gymnastics or dancing. Always be physical. You know, just make sure that you're bringing every element that you can to the TV show.
And let me put it to you this way. 100 different Power Rangers today. All of them were born at one point knowing nothing more than you do. So what's stopping you? Right? If you never stop, if you don't start, you're never going to get there. So just start. Never stop. New beginnings.
And just remember, they said I couldn't be Billy. And I and I persisted.
Yeah.
I said, yes, please let me audition. And they said no. So no matter, you know, you just keep going.
Does that mean yes means no?
No.
No means yes?
Yes.
Don't tell them I said that.
We've got about 5 minutes left, and I wanted to get to the elephant in the room between you two, and we'll jump ahead to Power Rangers Zeo, and little 8-year-old Maddie is sitting there, and they're about to reveal the Gold Ranger, and I'm going, it's gonna be Billy, it's gonna be Billy, and Tommy and you do this dramatic scene through the desert, and Tommy goes, what did I say? I wrote it down here. This is the new Gold Ranger right here, and points over your shoulder, and it's you, and 8-year-old me is so conflicted because I was pulling for Billy so hard, and then Jason comes back, and I'm just as pumped. So first of all, David, did you want to be the Gold Ranger?
I mean, it was never in the cards for Billy to be the Gold Ranger. It really wasn't. It was never a discussion with me and the producers that I was going to be the Gold Ranger. I knew throughout all the scripts and through the season that they were going to tease you guys that Billy was supposed to be the Gold Ranger, but it was never meant to be. And so, did I want to be? No. I mean, it would have been cool, but I just never thought that it was going to happen, so I just never played it that way. So, but I mean, I hear this all the time, and I don't think Austin and I don't know that we've ever talked about it. It doesn't seem like it's not an elephant. For you guys it is, but yeah, I mean, people bring me the Gold Ranger doll and say, can you just sign this because you were supposed to be the Gold Ranger? And I was like, so I'm like, okay. So, I mean, it's funny, but, you know, the way that everything happened for my character, I think, was perfect. I think the way that Billy left, going into outer space, was exactly how Billy was supposed to be.
And so when they started Zeo, did they come to you and ask you to come back?
Actually, it was before that. They came to me and they asked me if I would come back in the new Turbo movie. And would I also mind doing 17 episodes as the Golden Ranger? And I thought, okay, well, what do you want me to do in the movie? And there was talk about me returning as the Red Ranger. And I thought, well, that's gonna change a few things. And we all got to talking about it, and they're like, well, we're not really sure what direction. We're talking with Amy Jo, but they didn't really say about what. And so I got to talking to Shuki a little more. I said, you know what, I would love to be a bad guy. And I about saw his head explode. He's like, what, you're a bad guy, Jason? You know as a bad guy. I was like, what language was that? And and I guess they had discussions with Amy. I don't really know what they discussed with her, but in the end, you know, here we were, no superhero powers, except for the ones we carried inside. And yeah, right? And of course, they had me virtually naked the entire movie. And they dumped us in a volcano. I got to have my evil moment. And then we saved the day. So when it came to the series, we discussed it at the same time. And they're like, and we're thinking about bringing you back as the Gold Ranger. And I went, well, that's cool. So he's a 6th Ranger. And they're like, yeah. I was like, I've never done that. That could be kind of cool. Like Jason the Red Ranger was, you know, the rock the team was built on. But Jason the Gold Ranger was like the playboy in the mansion. I was like, you 5 are getting your butts kicked? Take a knee, I got this. Show up on my pyramid, had my theme music, lightning coming out of the top, park all your stuff in here, I'll keep it safe, go kick some butt. And then I was like, I'm good, man, all the monsters are dead, you guys can leave my pyramid now. I gotta invite the girls over. Deuce. You know, and like, that was the Gold Ranger, so I got to take I even almost had a girlfriend. Like, Jason was the only guy that never got a love interest. I was so upset about that. I was just like, I don't know. Agnostic. Maybe I was on my way to church. Maybe I was gonna be a monk. I was the monk ranger. I just couldn't have anything. Anyway, I'll go on.
I think we're out of time. Should we do 5 more minutes? Okay, let's take one more question. Let's go over here. I'm sorry, I'll go over here.
Okay. I'm Sarah, and I'm from around here. You probably see me on your Twitter feeds and all that. David, my question for you is, it's the same one I asked you before, but I guess you didn't have enough time to answer. When you had all those really, really long words that Billy would always say, how many takes did it take for you to get them right? Because I'm sure they were real tongue twisters.
Only 1 take.
Really?
No.
Yeah, right.
No, I mean
more than a few occasions. I saw a couple of veins popping out on his head as he was struggling with them.
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, I would get it, you know, but we would do more takes, so I would say it more confident each time. It was really difficult for me because I'm not a smart person in real life like Billy was. And so I would literally have to go in my dressing room and take out the dictionary and look up the words and figure out how to pronounce it and figure out what it means. So, it was great for me as an actor because I learned so much, and Billy made me smarter, which was awesome. But yeah, I would say several takes for sure.
Cool. And for the record, I think Billy would have become a forensic scientist. Solve crimes.
I like that.
On Akotar, definitely.
On Akotar.
Yeah.
Or here on CSI.
Okay.
Should we do a quick morph for everybody?
No.
On stage? I don't want to put you on the spot if you don't want to.
No.
I did say that you gave the most epic. It's morphin'
He does.
time.
So
yeah.
we'll let
so
him
we just
guys
make
wanna
him
morph?
do it. Yeah, we'll make him do it.
You gotta stand up. Stand up.
Let me get out of the way.
Never more sitting on my chair with my iPhone out. Come on. Not that they had iPhones back then. On 3, it's morphin' time, and then you guys call out your swords.
I'll be Mastodon.
Mastodon.
Yeah.
What sword are you gonna be?
I'll be, I guess, Triceratops.
Okay. I guess I'll be Tyrannosaurus. I don't know.
This is Mastodon first.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
And then Triceratops.
Okay, I'll go last. But we gotta hear you guys too. So are you gonna scream it loud? With your phones in your hands? Okay, I'm just checking. On 3. 1, 2, 3. It's
Mastodon! Ladies and gentlemen, Austin St. John and David Yost, thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
So much for being here.